Music from Zelda is some of the most beloved in video games. We all adore Gerudo Valley, Dragon Roost Island, and Zelda's Lullaby. But songs of their caliber often overshadow others that are just as deserving of praise. Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at the most underrated tunes from The Legend of Zelda.
Right where we wanted.
But before we get into it, we publish new content all week long. So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Face Shrine Theme, The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. No disrespect to the original, as both are underrated dungeon themes, but the music for the Face Shrine in the remake of Link's Awakening is on a different level. It begins as an orchestral remix with tense strings imparting feelings of melancholy and despair. However, after a few moments, the chiptune notes of the original version begin to bleed in, blending together for something really special. Not only does this elevate the track past its original sound, it gives the setting a lot more character. There are dozens of dungeon themes across the series that fans praise, and this one deserves to be right there with them. Minish Village Theme, The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap. Music from the Minish Cap is underrated in general, so there are a lot of songs from the game that could go here. But today, we're choosing to highlight the delightfully bouncy tune that plays when Link visits the Minish village. The simulated strings and flute that make up the main melody are undeniably catchy, but the bass that plays alongside them is also an excellent accompaniment. This track is such an easy one to sway to, and it can put you at ease almost instantly, making it a perfect theme for the adorable Picori race. Composer Mitsuhiko Takano made the absolute best use of the GBA's sound capabilities, and this theme is a bona fide classic. Deku Palace Theme, The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. For the Goron and Zora race, Nintendo carried over their area themes from Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask. But for the Dekus, who didn't have much of a designated home or civilization, they needed a new theme. The Deku Palace is home to their monarchy, and the music fits perfectly with this type of society. The melody is haughty and proud, conveying a sense of power and loyalty. And the percussion is upbeat and jaunty, going along with the shaky sounds the Dekus make whenever they move. While the Goron and Zora home themes have been remixed and reused over the years, this track deserves the same treatment since it brings the palace to life. Riverside Theme, The Legend of Zelda, Triforce Heroes. Triforce Heroes is usually thought of as the weakest mainline entry in the series, which makes total sense. But it is a shame because the soundtrack is pretty great. Among the underrated tunes, Riverside stands taller than most. This plays during most levels in the second overall area of the game, and is far more elegant than you would expect from a multiplayer title. What sounds like a marimba or xylophone plunks along, while violin and other strings and woodwinds deliver a melody so sweet it almost makes me want to weep. It's such a beautiful piece, and one that remarkably captures the water-centric areas. Bamboo Island Theme, The Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword.
Yo!
The soundtrack for Skyward Sword gets a lot of praise, understandable since it is incredible. One song that never gets mentioned, though, is the theme for Bamboo Island. Part of the reason it's underrated is because of where it plays. On a single sky island where Link can play a bamboo cutting minigame, and it doesn't even play during said minigame. So, it's easy to overlook. It's a really wonderful piece. Slow, calm, and reflective, bringing to mind the image of an aged swordsman looking back on his earlier days. This kind of makes sense, as the person who runs the minigame is Peter, who was once a famous warrior in his youth. But this song is so good, it really should have been used somewhere more prominent in the game. Hildas Theme, The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds.
Hey.
The composers of Zelda know a thing or two about crafting excellent pieces to go along with fantasy princesses. So, when it came time to introduce Hilda, the ruler of Lorule, they knew exactly what to do. While we'll praise the theme for Lorule Castle or this game's version of the Dark World endlessly, like everyone else, Hilda's theme is just as vital a piece of music. Consisting of a harp, flute, and some soft strings, it is undeniably serene. Yet, the notes also convey immense feelings of sadness, which is fitting considering the fate of Hilda's kingdom falling into ruin. Along with her story, it makes you feel for Hilda and want to help her. Linebeck's Theme, The Legend of Zelda, Phantom Hourglass. Of the many supportive characters across the Zelda series, Linebeck is one of the silliest. He tries to project confidence, coolness, and machismo as an adventurer, but he is the exact opposite. He's a coward, albeit a lovable one, and that becomes clear pretty quickly. His theme, however, does project the same attitude he attempts to. It's an assertive march with blusterous horns and harpsichord, a composition that claims importance and high esteem. It almost sounds like this encompasses how Linebeck views himself, on top of being catchy to boot. The DS games don't get a lot of love, but this is a wonderful character theme. Boarding Va Naboris, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Close in.
Some players criticized the music from Breath of the Wild for being a bit too subdued, less pushed to the forefront than in previous games. But there are still some really wonderful tracks. One of the most underrated plays when Link and Riju pursue the divine beast of the Gerudo Desert, Va Naboris. This section doesn't last very long, and the song only plays here, so it's another one that's easily overlooked. It should not be, though, because it goes hard. That quick percussion immediately gets you ready for a chase, the piano hook is straight fire, and the Middle Eastern influences give it a uniqueness not heard in most other songs in the game.
All right, now.
Tarm Ruins Theme, The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons. The Tarm Ruins in Oracle of Seasons are a mystical place. They're home to this game's version of the Lost Woods, and are a big puzzle since Link must cycle through all 4 seasons to make it through. Its theme encapsulates their strange, mysterious nature flawlessly. The ruins are a wonderful place to explore, while this song helps define the setting's strong personality. Though somewhat limited by the Game Boy Color's sound tech, the interwoven beeps and boops make this a beautiful, ethereal track. It's usually the grander games in the series that are praised for music, understandably so. But the Tarm Ruins theme does so much with so little. The Sacred Duet, The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. Like Phantom Hourglass before it, Spirit Tracks doesn't usually get a lot of love, which means neither does its soundtrack. One of the game's strongest pieces of music that's often left out of the conversation is the Sacred Duet that plays towards the end of the game. In the middle of the fight against Malladus, Zelda channels her power, joining Link in a magical song to weaken the Demon King. This duet is really lovely, especially when members of the Locomo join with their different instruments. It also leads into a really great final boss track, which blends quick ascending cello with the theme that Link and Zelda just played, along with the overworld theme from earlier in the game. The whole concoction is appropriately climactic while being one of the most moving pieces from a handheld Zelda. Of course, with so much music across so many years, we're bound to have left off some other underrated tracks. Head to the comments and let us know what songs from the series you wish got more love.